What's up guys, Ivan Carranza here, and today we're taking a look at my Neural DSP Quad Cortex bass preset that I've been using live on the road for the last couple of months with my new Dingwall Super J. I've been using this preset in many different stages, from small clubs to huge open-air festivals in front of tens of thousands of people, so I know it definitely works and I want to share it with you how I've set it up. One thing of course important to mention is that it's tailored to my playing and my bass, of course. So if you use it, which you can download actually from the Cortex cloud, you're probably gonna need to adjust a couple of things. Just something to keep in mind. But let's check out my preset. This is my preset. I have my Quad Cortex set to scene mode, and I use all the scenes, so all the foot switches, because I have everything on one single preset. So our entire setlist is in one preset. You can also change it, change preset per song. That's a personal preference, but I just like to have everything into one because I have the DSP power and I don't have to worry about, changing presets throughout the setlist. So I have three main sounds. Sound A, which is foot switch A, which is the sound for more like mellower and Latin or reggae songs, so something like this. Or if I close off the tone control a little bit. So really thick, but still has clarity. It's articulate, supportive, pretty full. Then I have sound B, which is a bit more aggressive, definitely. And then this is, well, mainly for, I would say 50% of the set. And then for some songs, I kick in some overdrive. So it's the same sound as B, but just with drive. Then D is one intro for a song that we sometimes play. It has like an atmospheric delay and reverb. Then E is sound A, but with an octave below. Just to accentuate some hits or an ending of a song. F is sound B, but with an octave below. G is sound B, but an octave drop down. Sorry, half a tone, a half step drop below. And then H is just an envelope filter for one section where I have a solo, and I take it with that envelope filter. So let's walk through the signal chain. So what do we have here? Now, the first thing, I made a capture of my DCX bass. That's the very first thing. It was captured flat, but on the edge of breakup. There's not much going on there, to be honest. I'm using this to bump up the gain going into the amp later down the chain. So EQ-wise or sound-wise is not such a massive difference. Then I have the Transpose block, which is new for 3.0. So if you need to adjust tuning for a song, you can do it with this. It's really great. Then I have the drive. I have a vintage microtubes drive here. And I'm cranking a lot of drive here, as you can see, because I have the blend set to pretty low, and it's just to give some more oomph to certain sections of a song. It's not like I have a distorted bass sound the entire time. Then I have the octave, which, like I said, kicks in some sections of a song. The delays and the reverb, I just picked something at random because the idea was just to make something atmospheric. There is nothing magical here. But for the amp, I have the SVT. And one thing that you might find curious is that I'm cutting actually quite a bit of bass because the stock setting is 5, like you see here. But I'm going down to 3.2 because, let me go here. If I set it at 5, it's already too thick. And at low volumes, you might wonder, okay, but it sounds a bit better with the bass at 5. It sounds fuller, right? But once you account for a sub and a big loud PA, it's a bit too much. And pulling back on the gain, especially when you have the master cranked all the way like I do to make the amp react kind of like the older SVTs, then the bass at 5 is quite a bit, to be honest. As you can see, cranking that mid-range as well on the 800 Hertz setting. If I take this to normal, it's very, very dull. I need really to boost this. To get some articulation back and to make the bass more present. I could also boost like this a bit less and boost more treble. But I find sometimes it can get a bit harsh, especially on my in-ears. But one thing that you probably are hearing as well is that I'm getting some drive there. That is to glue the bass with the drums and the guitars a bit better, even though I'm not in my drive setting. But yeah, like I said, I have the, I think it was 8.5, and this was like 6-ish, something like that. Pretty good. I mean, you could also boost some more treble to taste if you want, but for me it's been working well as is. Let's leave it there for the moment. Then onto the cabinet, I have an 8x10 cabinet using the condenser, the RE20 mic, and a dynamic 421. I like how these sound really good. Here also, there's a lot happening. It's a bit easier to actually adjust this on the Quad Cortex itself. You see a bit more, but if I switch scenes, you can see this is off. When I go to scene B, it turns on, and which one is it? Yeah, I'm boosting 2.5 as a high shelf. So everything above from that is getting boosted. Kind of like a, let's say, treble boost, but starting from the high mids. If I go to scene C, it's the same with a little bit of bass boost to compensate for the loss of low end happening on the drive. And that it remains the same. Then the envelope filter, this is just to get a little bit of quack on the bass solo that I took. Adjust to taste, there's no real magic here. And compressing input so that I am hitting, let's go back to my preset B though. You know, like when I ding it really hard, I want to hit like 8, but usually like 5, 6-ish gain reduction. Have the mix at 60% to have some parallel compression. 4-1. I'm not going like the slowest attack to let more transient through, but pulling it a little bit so that it catches those spikes, just in case, because sometimes I hammer strings pretty hard on the more aggressive songs, and I want those transients to be caught. It's still fairly slow, but it manages to keep levels consistent. It's not the slowest release, actually. This is the slowest. It's very minimal, but it does an effect on the 1176. And makeup is just to make it the same as my uncompressed sound. And at the end, I have my noble flat new capture just to smoothen things out a little bit at the end. It doesn't... Very subtle. It just rounds things up a little bit. Very minor, but it's nice to have it there. And the last row is there in case I would need, or I would have an amp on stage, which at the moment I don't, but then I can just pull this here in front of this amp, and then everything goes out to the amp. I would need to copy still the envelope, but you get the idea. So I can just have an amp on stage and still have the same sound going to the amp and to front of house. So that's pretty much it on the preset. Like I said, I've been using it for the last couple of months. It sounds great, it works, and the you could, depending, add a little bit more treble, but that's something you have to be careful, because at low volumes at home, it's easy to overdo it. And when you play in a big loud stage, when you start boosting this too much, it can sound pretty piercing and aggressive. So that's something just to pay attention to. That is my preset. Hope you guys like this. Like I said, I've been using this on tour for many shows, and it's been working great. Couple of things to pay attention to here is, like I said, when dialing in sounds, it's easy to overboost the bass and the treble, which might sound harsh live, even more so if you have in-ears, because it's gonna sound pretty piercing because the sound is directly into your ears. And it can always also go the other direction, that if you dial in the sound while you have your in-ears, because it sounds so direct, your sounds might end up sounding muffled because you don't boost enough treble or mids. So be careful with that when dialing in your sounds. If possible, try to crank your either your monitor speakers or your amp or however you're playing to hear how it sounds like at a louder volume at least, because then you're gonna start noticing what the balance is, and of course try to do it with the rest of your band if possible as well. I hope you guys found this helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the content that's coming to the channel. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.